Hello everyone, I wanted to give you guys a little update on how the lettuce is doing and also show you guys how the grow room is looking downstairs. So my lettuce starting video, I showed a bunch of seedlings in there and said that I was going to make a follow-up video explaining what they are, and this is the video. And also I'm going to take you guys outside for a little bit because I have a few things to show you guys there too. We actually have been having some really good days here this week. We had a few days in the 60s, believe it or not. It was amazing. I was able to spend some time outside and do some work. And even though I know this is false spring and we do have some snow in the forecast, I still want to maybe plant some seedlings this weekend. I don't know, I'm going to think about it, but I have started acclimating some. The grow room looks a little bit different than it did when you guys saw the update last weekend. As I mentioned, I have already started acclimating a few seedlings, but I'll take you guys outside and explain what everything is. So here it is. Here's the ranunculus that I have just planted. Look at those guys over there in the back. They're all green now. They were just shoots when I planted those over here in the middle. And I have the leftover ones in here. I didn't show that in the video, but I ended up having 10 leftover, 10 corms. You see how the soil here is super dry? So I live in an apartment and I don't control the heat, so it gets kind of dry here sometimes. The basement is kind of heated. Even though it's cooler than upstairs, it still runs into the building heating system, so it gets super dry here. I also have a little thermostat in here, same one that I have outside. So as you can see, it says 31% humidity now and it's 68 Fahrenheit. So it is definitely on the heater. It says okay here because just compared to what it is usually, you can see the low is 25% and the high is 39%. It'll definitely be better if it was around the 50, maybe 70% range, but that's what I have. I can control it. What I do to overcome that is keep my seedlings covered for a little bit longer than usual. So you can see that it is pretty moist in here and in there. Depending how they're looking, I'll take the domes off and leave them in here for a little bit for some ventilation. But mostly, if I notice that the soil is drying out too fast, I'll put a dome in it real quick just to sort of keep the moisture and make the seedlings a little healthier. Obviously, this is not the ideal condition, but that's what I have and that's what has been working for me. I am going to start here with the lettuce. Let me just move this up and remove this dome so we can see what's inside. Check that out. Everybody has already germinated. Almost everybody. Look at that. They have a pretty good, they're not super leggy. The ones that are right under the light come out looking pretty good. These larger pack cells, if I have the dome on top, they don't fit on this shelf. That's why this is stretching a little bit. But since most of these guys have germinated, I'll probably move this up here just to strengthen them up a little bit more. But the ones that came up right here with the light very close, you see how much better they're looking. They're all nice and short and they're looking super healthy. Before I got distracted, going back in here to show the progress, after I noticed that everybody germinated but this cell, I decided to add more seeds because those lettuce seeds were much older. They're probably from 2020. I just put a bunch in here and surface sold because lettuce does need light to germinate. I just double checked that and that's true. So I'm leaving them kind of exposed like this to see if I can see it or if I can get a better result this time. But everybody else popped up. So we have the arugula in here. This is a lot harder to do than I thought with this one hand. Let's see if I can do it. Arugula in here, the mizuna, not as much germination, not as many coming up as the other ones, but that's fine. Here we have the kale mix so far. Got a few seedlings in here. This is the Japanese mustard. These seeds are very old too. They are at the same time that I got those old over there, but they're great. They just come up every time. And the seedlings are already kind of purple. Look how cute they look. I love to see that. This is the sujimi side. Even the sweet chard is already germinated. Oh no, I just broke my thing. I'll be a bit more gentle, but going back here, this is the one of the sweet chard. It's yellow. Very nice. Means that we're gonna have a yellow one. Is a mix, so you can have different colors, and it's great because the yellow is the one I like the most. Alright, it got cracked in here. It didn't go all the way to the bottom, so I can see water, which is good. More gentle this time. And here we have the Merlot lettuce. They start green, so does the Lennox lettuce, and they will turn red usually when you put them outside with the sun. But look how nice the seedlings look. If you're unfamiliar with lettuce seedlings, that's how they look. Just right here, the seed was right here on the side, you see, and they come up very small. All the brassica seedlings have these little heart-shaped leaves, if you see here. Everybody that had the round seed I said it was in the brassicas family, have this little heart-shaped seedling. So all of these guys here are in the brassica family. So then we have the lettuce here, different shape. This is the purple lady bok choy, also a brassica, also with the little heart-shaped leaves, and this has some purple hues on it too. And my cat's here to say hi. Hi, Gypsy. She wants some attention because I didn't spend too much time with her today. So once those lettuce start germinating there, I'm going to move them up here so they're a little bit closer to the light. The reason why I don't move them yet is I need to keep this with the dome, and again it doesn't fit with the dome up there, because you see how those seedlings have a lot of these seeds kind of on it still. Sometimes if it's not humid enough or don't have enough water, they would kind of, I don't have any in here to give an example, but the seed cap would stay on top of the leaves and then it won't let them open. If it's too dry, they can't take it out. So that's why it's recommended to put a humidity dome before the seedlings emerge. Okay, now let's talk about these flowers here. There's a lot of varieties. I'm gonna pull this to the floor so it's easier for me. There are tons of seedlings in here and a lot more outside. They are all flowers, as I mentioned, other than this one here. It's basil. I like to grow basil a little early and put it in a pot by my window when they get stronger, so I can start kind of harvesting earlier or have them really big by the time I put them outside. I will cut it a couple times so it gets nice and bushy when it gets bigger, so that's why I have this little two purple basil in here. I have some Lysianthus in here. Look at this tiniest little seedlings. I started them, let's see, on the 24th. So my first batch, it was in January, this video that I showed you guys sowing. Look how tiny those guys are. Not even a big difference from this to this. They're just so small. This is probably the tiniest seedlings I've ever grown. But I'm kind of concerned. I have no idea if this is going to work out or not. I will still keep them and see how it goes, but I'm not very hopeful. I don't know. This has been, what, a month now? 4 weeks, and they still look this tiny compared to everybody else that I sold much later and are looking a lot bigger. So going back here, we have some milkweed. This is probably started too early, but what happened is last time I tried to sow some milkweed and it took forever to germinate. This one here, I started super early, the 15th. I actually left it outside. I put the seeds in and I left it outside for a couple weeks, and then I put it inside, and then once they came in, they sprouted almost like right away. I'll see if they will survive or not. I'll probably put them in bigger pots and try to keep them inside until it gets a little warmer. They're cold tolerant, but I don't know, I never grew them before. Now for some other things in here I will, because I know they like the cold and they can handle it. Turn this because the labels are the other way around. I have some yarrow in here. Yarrow, it's very cold hardy and it could also handle the cold outside. There's a lot of seeds on these cells because last year too I tried to grow yarrow and I had a very poor germination. This year all of them germinated, so let's see what I'm gonna do with these guys over here. I have to go ahead and separate them really soon. This one here are pansies. I have the brush stroke pansies. They're very pretty, and I am trying to plan to grow some of these for my wedding. They will produce forever, so I will separate them too. They're super cold and hardy. Probably put them outside and see if they'll start blooming sooner. They don't really like the heat, but I hope that by the beginning of July, mid-July, they're still blooming, so I can use a little bit of them for some decoration and maybe to decor the food a little bit too. Those are edible flowers and they look great. And here I have something I never grew before. It's called Elegant Salmon Clarkia, I think that's how you pronounce. They are supposed to be a very pretty tall flower that attracts lots of pollinators. And check this out, it has the cutest little seedlings with these pink markings on the leaves. I don't know if you can see through the video, but it's so cute. They also are kind of losing it when they're getting bigger, but once they emerge, they all had these little pink little marks here, and they were adorable. So never grown this as an experiment. I don't know if it's gonna work out or not, but I just wanted to see how the seedling look like and how big they grow, how fast they grow. Because now you can see I have this little tiny Lysianthus in the basil, for instance, the same day. Look how big, much bigger this one is. So I decided to start a bunch of my other seedlings to sort of learn about them too. This is a straw flower, vintage white straw flower. I started another straw flower before this, the apricot one, and it's huge. I'll show you guys outside. It's actually mating outside already because it's really big. This is another Lysianthus, or the same. Oh yeah, these are starting the same day. This champagne one and this one is the first love. And then I have here, I have all poppies. The poppies, I had older seeds too, and I threw a bunch of seeds in here in these little containers. These ones here, I think is a black and a white poppy. I have them outside already potted because I did 2 more of these before, left it outside. They all germinated. I put them back inside. They got bigger than this. I decided to put them into 78 plug cells, and they're outside. I'll show you how they look like now. Maybe I'll take this with me to show you the difference. And one more thing, I have this Sahara Rudbeckia that I started the 24th, and they have this cute little furry leaves. Look at that. It's my first time growing Rudbeckia too. I seen pictures for these online and they're just gorgeous. So I really wanted to try to grow some here. I want to have some of those for the wedding, and I'm growing this batch for tests because it is too early to grow them. But again, I just wanted to see how, you know, they look and how long fast they take to grow, etc. I'll try to put them out if they survive, great. But I just really wanted to do a test run before I do the ones for the wedding too. To be very honest with you, I am a little bit scared about growing the flowers for the wedding because I don't have a lot of experience growing flowers, and I'm scared to, I don't know, messing it up with the timing and not having anything for the date. So the reason why I'm sort of being extra cautious and starting them earlier is just because I need to learn, and I wanted to have a little bit of experience just right before I start growing them for the wedding too. I will still do a separate video talking about the wedding plans and the location, and there's a few things that are important because I'm growing some flowers in different growing zones because I'm going some in here and some there, and it's a lot colder where the wedding is going to be. But this is a test run, as I said. If those survive and make my spring garden beautiful, great. I would be very happy. I'll cut from them, I'll practice with them to do bouquets and arrangements for the wedding because I also don't have a lot of experience with that. But that would be good too, because that way, if these guys, some of them survived, I have lots of them, at least I could get some practice into the actual day of the wedding in July. This is only one train, that's a lot of stuff. I still have more. Bear with me for a little bit if you're curious. This up here, I have stock. I'll throw it right away so I can read the labels. So I have some stock in here. This is a spring flower. I'm just trying to grow early because I want to attract some pollinators and see if I can have something planted in the plot before we're ready to plant stuff in May. This is not a cut and come again flower, it's just a one-time deal. We'll send one flower stock and after that it will be done. So I'll plant some there for some beauty and also to cut the flowers to make arrangements in the home. Here we have, what is this, more poppies. These ones are planted individually. Started a lot earlier, but they lived outside for a little bit too, as I mentioned. I have some eucalyptus. This is totally for the wedding. I love the look of eucalyptus in decoration, and once I bought this, they only had the silver dollar variety. They didn't have the classic forest eucalyptus, but I think I'm gonna be happy with it anyway. Supposed to start them super early too because it takes forever to grow. So here they are. This one here is looking pretty nice, a lot bigger than the others, and this one already smells good. It's amazing. Those guys are doing okay, but if I only have one plant, I'm already happy. That'll be just nice to have some eucalyptus from my bridal bouquet, but we'll see how this is gonna go. Back there, I have some Cherokee Sunset Rudbeckia. No, oh, there's one here. I thought I was going to say no germination, but that's one baby here. So I got one there so far. And then I have some white dill that I started now in February. It's supposed to be super cold and hardy too, so I might put them out sooner. I have an amaranth here that volunteered. Probably fell from my dried flowers that are on top here. And back there is some celosia and some salmon aster. I started because it says this one you should start 8 weeks before your last frost date, and I tried to go celosia last year and they had bad germination too, but this year, of course, for my luck, they all germinated just fine. So they might be a little bit too early for them too, but we'll see how they're gonna do. Over here with the dome are new seeds that are planted, and there's nothing much in there. I need 2 hands to take this out, so just give me a second. Okay, dome is off, and apparently I have some babies there, so I just saw that in the back. But we have some more stock. Custom makes a snapdragon. This is gonna try to be for the wedding. We'll see how this is gonna go. This guy here, that other one, is also a snapdragon. It's just coming up. I think I sold this maybe a week before this, and then they're just now coming up. I just noticed they're tiny. And over here, what do we have? All the way back there, there's a double daisy Rudbeckia. There's some here, hard to see, but 3 of them germinated. This this. It was the Lysianthus, I think, that I had the other tray. They didn't germinate, so I just left them in there. And then this Pansy Mix is the one that I also planted on that video when I started Lysianthus, the stock. And the Snapdragon, none of them have germinated yet, so I'm not sure if the seeds are good anymore. And again, the ranunculus. That's all that we have inside here, and I gotta pull this guy back up. I'll put it here, but I'm taking the poppies with me because I want to show you guys the difference between the ones that are outside. It's actually not as nice as it was this morning. It's a little cold now, but I want to still show you guys real quick. I'll show you how they're looking. Probably gonna have to pull them back in soon too. So I have been taking them out in the morning and then putting them back inside right after sunset, so it's not too cold for them. And I have most of them here. Look at this. They look so good. So the poppy, what I was talking about, looked like this first, right? I had them out here, sat in here for a little bit to cold stratify. Then when I noticed they're germinated, and even with all the cold, I put them inside and they started getting really big. So they're a little bit bigger than this. I decided to transplant them out, and look how they're looking. Those are all poppies. They all started like this. I came in and pricked them out. I think that's how you call. I sort of gently got a little toothpick and took them out with the roots, and then I transplanted them to this 72 cell over here. I did the same thing with the Snapdragons. Those are the Snapdragons that we started together that I had in that video. Look how nice they're looking. This is a Snapdragon mix. I just threw some seeds in there. You guys saw the amount, and all of this came up. So other than this, I decided to start this a little bit later, but they all are up too, and some of them are a lot bigger than the others. They're doing really good. I transplanted them out here, gave them a few days in to sort of adapt, and now I'm putting them out to harden them off a bit. I also have some basil in here that's been out, and I don't know if you can notice, this is a lot darker than the one inside, just because they are getting exposed to some natural light. These are not cold hardy, but it's been so warm this week that they've been just happy outside here. They don't seem to be minding at all to be acclimating. And then here, look at this giant thing here. This is the calendula. I planted this on the 24th, many same days as many of the ones inside there. These are so big. They're doing great. I put them in the 6-pack because they're growing very fast, and I'm not ready to put them out yet, even though they are cold hardy. And then we still have the peas that I have showed you guys. They've been acclimating for longer, and I gotta probably put them out. They're starting to send tendrils, so I need to probably find some time to do it really soon, maybe this weekend. Those are the ranunculus that I showed you guys. They haven't grown much. I checked the roots for these guys here earlier today, and they're kind of starting to get root bound, so I do have to plant those out very soon. I started some bachelor button in here, but they have to be cold for a little bit, so I put them on here also to cold stratify. And here I have this stock that we started together, and the germination was just okay. They germinated first before everybody else, but this guy here like never came up. This one is doing really good. All of everybody, there's one really good one. Same thing happened here. This one is doing really good. Those are doing okay, and this guy kind of shriveled and died, and these other two didn't come up, so not as great compared to these guys. I also started some stock later after watching the Flower Farm and Garden Answer and seeing how beautiful stock looks. So I decided to start some on the 72 trays. They're super healthy and big and looking really nice. From what I was reading, they prefer to get established in the cold weather. So probably I'll put them out very soon too, probably together with the ranunculus that also prefers to establish with the cool weather. And here I have the same variety of the stock that I started that day, and again, spotted germination, not so great. This was from Baker Creek. This was from Joni's, a lot better, the ones from Joni's. Oh, those are the seeds I showed you guys. I think I showed you guys the seeds I picked up when I bought those cells. Those are the ones. This is the apricot, and this one is the vintage brown. And we have some feverfew in here. I need to separate them because also they got very good germination and they're getting big very fast. And this is the straw flower. Look at the difference. The one that I had inside and the one that I have here. Also lots of them germinated in one cell. So there are 3 in here. And then I have the calendula. I started those calendulas together in here, but those were 2s that came up, and I took them out and separated, and you can see that after giving more space, these grew a lot more than those ones back there. So I have to find some time to pot these guys here. I have some phlox in here. They're also supposed to be cold tolerant. Some more with back here over there on the side. and nothing here popped up yet. Let me check this. This morning I almost forgot to open this before I left. I had to come back and open, and it was already 8 something a.m. so the sun was already here, and then got to a super high temperature. But good thing the seedlings didn't die. The peas sleep in, and then I take this, everybody else inside the still at night. But that's it. That's so exciting. I know it's only February. I know I'm super ahead of the game. By this time last year, I don't think I had anything growing yet. I had probably just started some of my brassicas and they're all inside. But it's been quite warm, much warmer than usual for the winter, even though we had those 2 really big cold snaps. It's kind of funny because we usually have a little bit snow here in the winter, but it doesn't get super cold. This time we had no snow, and then when it got cold, got really cold. But it's getting a little chilly now. I'm gonna go ahead and put all of these guys back inside. Hope you guys like to see this little update today, and I can't wait to transplant some of them out and see how they do. They'll probably leave, some of them will leave there in that little tunnel that's already made for them. I hope they survive and do well. Alright, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.